Critical Role seems to be getting shorter, and that might be exactly what needed to happen.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Before we dive into diminishing Critical Role runtimes, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? Just taking a second to hit those buttons makes a huge difference for these videos, and we really do appreciate it. And then, let's talk some Critical Role. A pattern has been emerging for the last month or so of Critical Role, starting with the final 2 episodes of the Soldiers arc and all of the current Seekers arc. And if you've been finishing up Critical Role lately and wondering why you weren't as sleepy as usual, the answer is the episodes have all been substantially shorter than the norm. Starting with episode 10 of Campaign 4, no episode has cracked the 4-hour mark for runtime, and in fact only one episode has come within 20 minutes of hitting that 4-hour mark, with episode 11 clocking in at almost exactly 3 hours and 40 minutes. The mid-episode breaks have also been a bit shorter, but it really does seem like after some longer episodes to start off the season, Critical Role has been doing more editing and more trimming to keep these runtimes under that 4-hour mark, especially the ones without any combat involved in them. But instead of being alarmed at the drop in quantity of Critical Role, we think this decision to shift towards tighter editing and runtimes, even if it just winds up being temporary, is an amazing step in the right direction and a perfect example of sometimes less being more. The one complaint we've heard from Critical Role fans since basically day one has been the longer runtimes, especially from those East Coast critters. While Critical Role normally kicks off around 7 PM Pacific, that's already 10 PM on the East Coast, and with Campaign 2 and 3 usually clocking in at around 4.5 hours, with some occasional 5 and 6 hour outliers tossed in there on the regular, and some even bigger outliers like the end of the Calamity Downfall series or the 8.5 hour whopper that was the Campaign 3 finale, there was just no way a critter who was going to most likely have to go to work or school the next day on the East Coast could finish that episode up, as they would routinely end at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. But with this current 4-episode streak of 3.5 hour episodes, that becomes slightly more reasonable. Finishing up at around 1:30 in the morning may seem not that significant, but it's kind of a huge deal for your sleep pattern. It also makes it easier for those fans on the East Coast and in Europe to keep up to date on the campaign when the rebroadcasts are a full hour or so shorter than a normal episode, which means they're just taking up less of their busy week to watch if they missed a stream. Critical Role remains one of the last truly long actual plays, with their 4.5 hour runtimes, which seemed like a blessing during the pandemic when we were all looking to kill some serious time, now becoming something of a drag, as you can see by the major viewer drop-off most episodes get around that 3-hour mark. Legends of Evantris generally keeps their streams to the 2.5 to 3 hour mark at most, and Dimension 20 generally only does 1 hour to 1.5 hour episodes. So really only Critical Role is asking their fans to set aside the entire evening for a 4+ hour stream when they're trying to keep up with the campaigns. And while that lets them have big, epic combats and social encounters, it's also hard for fans to stay up for and keep current on, which is why these leaner 3.5 hour episodes are kind of the best of both worlds. You still get more time than your average actual play for big dramatic moments and rich storytelling, but you also wrap up before 2 AM on the East Coast or 11 AM on the West Coast, making it much easier for fans to watch those first runs all the way through. The viewership in the last 4 episodes has also had less of a tail-end drop-off. So if this is truly a conscious decision, and not just a strange byproduct of the Seekers table and the Soldiers table largely avoiding major combats in the last 4 episodes, we think they may really be onto something. And with the show no longer being live streamed and hence much easier to edit, we'll be very interested to see if this trend continues tonight and beyond, as it could be exactly what the Critical Role fandom has been asking for years. So what do you think? Are you a fan of these new, tighter 3.5 hour Critical Role episodes? Let us know down in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.